You know, there's a threat to your business that you can't see, you can't hear, you can't feel. And no, it's not some new piece of malware, and it's not a DDoS attack. And get this, it originates 93 million miles away, on the sun, and it can wreak absolute havoc on the tech you depend on every single day.
So you might be wondering, where is all this coming from? Well, what we're about to get into is grounded in some really serious research. This is actually part 6 of a 10-part series, and it's all based on a super detailed report from the experts over at RFI Detectives. We're going to be zeroing in specifically on Chapter 6 of their report, the real-world risks that space weather poses to your office and your enterprise IT systems.
I know it sounds a little like science fiction, but let's just cut right to it, shall we? This is the central question that every IT manager, every business leader, really needs to be asking themselves. Could a storm in space, something completely and utterly beyond our control, bring your entire operation to a grinding halt?
And let me be perfectly clear. This is not some far-off, hypothetical what-if scenario. Nope. This is a real, documented, and frankly, a hugely underappreciated threat. The very same solar forces that paint those beautiful northern lights across the sky can absolutely cripple the servers and routers that form the backbone of your company.
All right, let's dive in. First up, the heart of any modern business, the network. It's your lifeline to pretty much everything. And it turns out it's a prime target for space weather.
The main culprit here is something called a single event upset, or an SEU for short. I want you to picture a high-energy particle, like a tiny invisible bullet fired from the sun that slams into a microchip. Now, it doesn't destroy the chip, but it can flip a single bit of data. A 1 becomes a 0 or a 0 becomes a 1. It's a teeny tiny change with potentially massive consequences.
I mean, just stop and think about that journey for a second. A single particle travels 93 million miles, zips through our atmosphere, right through the roof of your building, and finds one specific microscopic transistor in your data center just to flip a single bit. It's an almost unbelievable single point of failure.
So, what does that one little flipped bit actually do? Well, in a router, it can send data packets to who knows where, creating these insane network loops that just clog everything up. It can create a data black hole where information just, poof, vanishes. Or, even scarier, it could open up a security vulnerability, or just crash the entire system. Boom, done.
But network glitches, believe it or not, are just part of the story. There's a much more insidious threat, one that strikes your most valuable asset, your data. And this is exactly where the conventional wisdom about data protection totally falls apart.
We all rely on RAID arrays, right? It's our safety net for when a drive fails. It's standard practice. But here's the critical flaw, and this comes directly from the RFI Detectives report. RAID systems are completely blind to bit-level data corruption.
Let's break down the difference, because it's huge. A hard drive failure, that's loud, it's obvious. Alarms go off, lights flash red, you swap the drive, RAID rebuilds the data, you're good. But silent data corruption? Oh, that's a whole different beast. It's invisible. There's no mechanical error for your RAID system to even notice. It has no idea an error ever happened.
Let's walk through exactly how this crime happens. So, step 1. A particle from space hits your server's RAM while it's writing data. Step 2. A single bit flips, instantly creating corrupt data. And here's the kicker. Step 3. Your RAID array, doing its job perfectly, takes that corrupted data and faithfully saves it across multiple disks. It's not protecting your data, it is diligently preserving the error.
Okay, so we've talked about networks, and we've talked about data, but the problem goes even deeper, all the way down to the very foundations of our IT infrastructure, the power grid, and yes, even the cloud.
Now, this is a really sneaky vulnerability that most people would never even think of. A major geomagnetic storm can actually induce currents in the power grid, and that distorts the AC waveform. Your UPS, your uninterruptible power supply, sees this funky-looking power, assumes the grid has failed, and switches over to its battery. So your data center could lose power not because the grid went down, but because its own protection system was tricked into draining itself dry.
And when we talk about the cloud, we have to remember it isn't some magical thing. It's just physical hardware in a physical place. A space weather event can cause trouble anywhere along this chain. Your local network, sure, but it could also be your ISP's network or the internet backbone itself. Or it could be a direct hit on the cloud data center. A break in any one of these links means your service is down. And if you're thinking, well, the big cloud providers must have this handled, think again. Google, Amazon, Microsoft, they've all published research confirming that their servers experience these SEUs. During a major solar event, that error rate just goes up, and the cloud services you pay for and depend on, they just become less reliable.
Okay, we've been deep in the technical weeds here. Let's pull back up and ask the most important question of all. What does this actually mean for your business? This quote from the report just gets right to the heart of it. Think about that glitchy software, that weird database corruption you blamed on a bad update, that random server crash you could never ever reproduce. What if the cause wasn't a bug at all? What if it was a particle from the sun? That fundamentally changes how you have to approach troubleshooting everything.
Because ultimately, this isn't just a tech problem. It's a business problem. All these network failures, the data corruption, the power loss, it all translates directly into the things that keep executives up at night. Downtime, data loss, and just massive, costly operational disruption.
So in the end, the fact that space weather exists, that's not really the question. It's a fact of life on this planet. The real question is for you. Now that you know this risk is out there, what's your plan?